Happy 9/11, everybody.
Never forget.
Who saw...
You had to go there.
They had to go there. The thing is, they really didn't. They so didn't have to go there.
His friend had to die, and it had to be in 9/11. Nothing else would have pushed John to the brink. For frick's sake. Oh, my God. Guys, I want to talk to you about a little movie that came out in 2010.
Oh, geez.
It's called Remember Me.
Before we do that, let's introduce ourselves. I am Kevin McCaffrey. I am here in New York City right now with my wife, Jamie McCaffrey.
Sup, noted Remember Me fan,
Noted
Jamie McCaffrey.
Remember Me, saw it in theaters. And coming to us from Chicago with, I believe, a new hat, Dave Miller.
Old is the new. I don't know.
Yeah.
It is a new hat. It's my National Football Post hat.
Oh, shoot. R.I.P.
Yeah, so it's still continuing as a website with a betting angle, and I'm not part of it. So
They lost
I was a founding member for 6 years. Guys, the last thing I wrote in my notebook after tonight's show, in capital letters, life is awful.
I mean, that is the message, I guess.
I mean, that kind of is the message. It's also very Dave branded.
Freaking
it's
A.
very, yeah, that is very... Life is Awful is a fairly representative, just contextless text I'll just get from Dave, one of my best friends on earth. Sometimes I'll just get a text that's like, life is bad, I'm burying life. And I'm like, well, good. That's good. It's great to hear from Dave.
That's like the opposite of this show where Gary's like, why didn't I see the signs that John was suicidal? He's my best friend. And then in this case, it's just Dave just texts, life is terrible, I'm ending it. And it's like, we know that it's fine.
Yeah, everything's fine. Right. With Dave and I, we're on the same page about it. Go ahead.
Now, conversely, on the same page in my notebook, I also have Eddie is me equals in love with two women. So I'm a walking contradiction.
Oh, yeah. No, Dave's going to the wiener side.
Dave has...
Eddie's terrible.
But you can relate. You can understand his sort of feeling. But before we get any further, again, this is our last episode of Season 1. We are coming back for a Season 2. We may be doing episodes in between Season 1 and Season 2. We don't know yet. We are surprised at how many people have been listening to this, so thank you for doing that. If you aren't yet, follow us at A Million Podcast on Twitter, at A Million Little Podcast on Instagram, and millionlittlepodcast@gmail.com. In this finale, that did... I didn't think they'd hit us with it.
What a send-off.
I did not think they'd hit us with 9/11. I didn't see a reason for it. But Jamie, I'm sorry, you were referencing a movie before.
There's a movie with Robert Pattinson and a girl from Lost in it in 2010, and they're in New York, and they fall in love, and there's family drama, I guess, and then they get over their family drama, and they're together, and it's whatever. They both have stupid, like, Brooklyn accents.
Sounds like a blockbuster.
They're both foreigners and do not pull it off. I mean, good for trying, whatever. I don't hate it. I saw it in theaters because I went with a friend who I saw the, like, Twilight movies with, so we're like, let's just go see this dumb Robert Pattinson movie in theaters and, get drunk beforehand. It's like, that sounds like a great time. And there's, at the end of the movie, basically everything's been resolved. All the relationships have been mended. And Robert Pattinson is in his dad's office downtown waiting for him to show up because he's, he's going to work for him like he's been putting off, but he's going to do it now. And you, after seeing this episode, might know where this is going. The camera, as he's looking out the window wistfully, slowly zooms out to reveal that he's in one of the Twin Towers. And then the last 10 minutes of the movie is just basically slow-mo of everybody else in the movie, like looking towards the sky with ash falling on them and crying because they know Robert Pattinson just died in 9/11. 9/11 was the twist, was the Shyamalan twist at the end of that movie. And I felt like I've been Remember Me'd all over again.
The movie is called Remember Me, yeah.
And basically like 2 seconds before the reveal, I gasped because it clicked in my head what was about to happen.
Yeah.
And then we just laughed. I mean, my friend and I basically laughed through the end of it just from shock. like Maggie finding out she's in remission. We're just like, this is the craziest news.
We're going to laugh about it now. And we should let me tie in quickly the thing from this show. If you watch the show, if you're listening now, you know. But basically, John Dixon, the man who
Jonathan Damian Dixon, by the way, just in case that's a thing later.
JDD, Damien, the name of Jake the Snake.
That's definitely going to be something.
Yeah, season 2. They need a finale for season 2. You can only 9/11 once. So
Who knows?
Dixon survived because he did not get on the flight that we found out was a 9/11 flight. Basically, from Boston's Logan Airport, that is where some of the flights that flew into the ones that ended up in the World Trade Center. That's where they came from. And god dang, man, I do not enjoy. I was saying to Jamie, Dave, that I think the saying it's a 9/11 connection now, that is to me equivalent. It's sort of the new generation. Oh, I'm just going to kill a dog in this. It's a way to pull heartstrings without actually telling a story. It's just
a shortcut.
It's press a button.
Yeah.
And now I'm deep. Go ahead, Dave.
Yeah, and this is something I was fighting with some of my friends. I mean, if you would see a trailer on the television, first of all, people our age, let's be honest here, there's not a ton of people our age, I think, that really are committed to network TV. I could be wrong.
No, I think you're kind of right.
No, I think you're right.
It's mostly, it's our age, but our age people, I think, not mostly living in cities, but I think we're the last generation of it. It's mostly people older than us, right?
For sure, and I felt like I had to defend this show, not in 2019, but like the first part of the year.
I get it.
I have to defend it's not, hokiness is the wrong word, but it wasn't hokey to me, but some of the cheesy,
still real to me.
Certainly can read that way. And
exactly. And I thought once it was picked up, moved to Thursday, if I didn't have to defend it as much.
Things were looking up.
Yeah, things were looking up. It got renewed, but to revert to the 9/11 thing was.
It really felt to me in parts of this, it felt both like oops, we got a second season. We have to sort of go back on some shit we were doing. Mainly the Eddie Katherine storyline. I'm like, I don't feel like they end up together if this is the end of the, a series. Mm-hmm. And then at the same time, feels like they wrote this episode at the beginning because I feel like episodes have gotten better. The first episodes are always weird because you're figuring shit out. And this feels more like, and at the beginning, like, let's give it time, you guys. Let's see. Maybe they'll stop having 9/11 happen in every episode at some point.
Right.
It was just, there was a lot of stuff.
It was a less layered episode, too, than they've been in a while, too. And it's tough. It must be hard to do a season finale when you have to plan for it in a way when you don't know that it's not a series finale. I think that's my favorite show, maybe my favorite drama of all time, Friday Night Lights. I think their first season finale, which was great, but also ended in a way where I don't think it would have ended that way had they known that they were getting a season 2. Mm-hmm. So I don't know how much this has to do with it. Let me cliff note real quick, because I have like my 9/11 connection. My dad, who is alive, worked in the World Trade Centers. And I didn't know that and people, that's a thing from people of our age. We have 9/11 stories because, we were basically, Dave and I were sophomores in college and Jamie was a junior. I was at Ball State. A friend of mine woke me up and I knew my dad worked near it. And
we were in Indiana.
We were in Indiana. And my dad has always lived in New York. He's a lawyer. And then later on in that day, because cell phones weren't working, so I couldn't get through to him. And then my dad's wife, Phyllis, called me and said, "Hey, did you know your dad worked in the World Trade Center?" And I said, "No." And then she said, "He's okay, though." And I said, "Well, lead with that from this point forward." And my dad was literally walking down the street when the when the first plane hit the World Trade Center, and then he walked back uptown, knowing he thought, if this is a terrorist attack, I'm not going down to the subways. That would be the next thing you'd hit. So he walked 60 blocks uptown to his apartment. So that's my 9/11 connection story, and I'm not even. And it's a thing where it sounds like I'm more connected than I am, I think, because my dad is very connected to it. He knew people very connected to it. But I don't feel comfortable trading on that as an interesting chip.
Yeah.
And but I do think, because I don't know, maybe I don't know if it's, I think I would feel this way even if I had zero connection to it, but I am sensitive to people just playing that as a press a button dramatic choice. Yes. I think it's horseshit. Steve Ranazizi is a comedian who faked that he was involved in 9/11. You know, he was a guy in the league. Right. Fuck him forever. I don't forgive him for that. He's sort of gotten a pass. Otherwise, I hear he's a nice guy. Fine. He's a piece of shit liar. He can tweet me if he wants to talk about it.
You can just be done with the person.
Yeah, exactly. He's just not interesting.
It'd be fine if other people are into it, but it's just like, yeah, but I'm over it. There's a lot of people out there. And I can be done with that.
And this is a thing where we're all trying to be, as Dave says, this is a show we feel like this is not our profile does not watch shows like this, and then when this kind of a button is pushed, it makes it harder to defend.
We believed in you.
It makes it harder to defend.
God damn.
Anyway, Dave, go ahead.
Yeah, I was gonna say, and we love recording these right after the show airs. Yeah. I think that's the best way to do it. Maybe if tomorrow we look at DJ Nash, he's executive producer, right?
Yeah.
DJ. Maybe he's got some sort of connection.
Maybe he died in 9/11. Let's find out.
Maybe he's been dead the whole time.
Like we thought PJ was, P.S.
Yeah.
We'll see. Maybe this whole thing is his, I don't want to say honoring, but we'll see. But again, it's not where I thought it was going to go.
Same. And I do like, and there are some things they realistically did well with this where they, where they said there's no one reason why John Dixon did what he did, took his own life. And that's true. That I think that's good. That there wasn't really a big mystery solved. Although they kind of tried to do that with the 9/11 thing, I guess.
I mean, it's like we answered a lot of questions.
Yeah,
but it just
which is good.
By the time it was happening, it was we were still just like, are you fucking kidding me with the 9/11 stuff? And they're talking about like, I was pregnant and blah, blah, blah. It's like, yeah, okay, whatever.
I know. That's the thing. The 9/11 angle made it so much less interesting to me. I would love to sit down with DJ Nash and tell him how cheap a fucking move I thought that was. I just thought that was a trash, cheesy ass move. Yeah.
And also it's like, I don't know. I guess aside from 9/11, even if he had just died in a regular plane crash, it seems like a little bit thin that's because the whole thing was like John was like, he's the reason that I'm the reason that my friend is dead. But it's like, but you're not though.
No, he just got on the plane on time.
You were both going to get on the plane. You're the reason he died alone, I guess.
Yeah, you're the reason. You're the reason you're not dead. Yeah, I guess
that's what I'm saying. No, that's the thing. It could have still been quote unquote John's fault if maybe John had an idea to take like this senior year road trip. I think it was maybe not senior, obviously, when they're in their 20s or whatever, how old they were.
Mm-hmm.
Right.
Like, it was John's idea to take this road trip, and Dave went with him.
Right.
That would have been better.
Yeah. Yeah.
Exactly. Yeah, they kind of forgot while they were all blinded by the bright light of their big 9/11 ending. They forgot to like make it actually in any way John's fault. I think. I guess I forget why they were actually on the trip because it was a very confusing flashback.
They double flashbacked, right?
They double flashback. So maybe it was, I don't know. Maybe it was John's idea for the trip, but they really should have made it very clear. If it was like, oh, he didn't want to go to LA, but John convinced him to go, and then he feels guilty. It's like, sure, fine then. But it's like, yeah, no, well, I mean, the only difference is that you were both going to die, but instead only he died. And it's like, sure, you might feel guilty about that. But it's like, how, even in a fucked up, like your friend is dead way, how would you think it was your fault? Like, it doesn't even make sense.
Right.
And I understand that it doesn't make sense in life, but
sure,
for a plot line in a TV show, I feel like it was thin.
Yes. So basically, John's best friend from Harvard, it seems, was on one of the Logan flights that got hijacked and flown into the World Trade Center, and that is a depression that stuck with him forever. His friend's wife was Barbara Morgan.
Yes.
So that is the connection.
Dave is, yes, and Dave.
And the friend is Dave. He couldn't save Dave.
No.
You couldn't save Dave. And could we save
Not
Dave?
many people can.
We've been trying this whole podcast has been trying to save Dave.
Only 2
This
women.
is very meta.
It got real meta real fast. Yeah. God dang. So that's the big, it's hard to not lead with 9/11 when they really throw it in there. But
yeah, really.
do you guys have any thoughts before I go into a quick overall rundown?
Really quick,
Go.
I just wanted to say we were texting during the show multiple times. I had to. You guys know like production terms better than me because you were like TCOM people and this is what you do for a living. But I just thought like camera angle wise, production wise, like so obviously he was wearing the same jersey and obviously he was focusing on the wine.
We're talking about the flashbacks.
Yeah.
Yes, in past episodes we knew the wine was important, but it just came off. Clumsy's not the right word, but yeah, I mean, we knew because I'm like, oh, 9/11, obviously that was 2001. So like,
You got it, dude.
I don't think it was just me either.
No,
You know what I
it took, and you know what? It was extra confusing because what I think definitely did is for the 9/11 flashbacks, they definitely CGI made his face younger. Because I was noticing that when he was trying to get on the flight, I was like, does his face look weird? Are they doing that CGI make you younger, like Snapchat filter thing that you can do in like
Snapchat
movies
filter.
now? And then I was like, but wait, why would they do that? He hasn't been in that in other flashbacks. And then at some point it's like, oh, it's 9/11, so this was 17 years ago. So it would be like the... okay, and I was like, and they were, and then when he's at the bar later with Delilah, definitely they were still doing that. So, but yeah.
I want to be able to do that to my face in real life.
I know.
Because he looks like me in college. It's just black-haired,
Yeah,
sideburns.
it's that thing where, and I forget what the term it is, but it's just like where it's just there's just a little bit of weirdness, just barely enough weirdness where you can tell that that's not a regular human face.
Yeah.
That like difference between the computer generated stuff, which is like you need to keep so that people can't like just make a human face for real on the screen.
Because we were talking 2011, obviously, with the Blackhawks thing, and then really quick about that, I'm like, and you guys know I, worked for the Blackhawks many years ago.
And the Bruins and Hawks were played in the Stanley Cup Finals.
Exactly. And the Bruins and Hawks literally played in the Stanley Cup Final. I'm like, but it wasn't 2011. But then I'm like,
It's 2013.
Eddie, the joke about the travel plans. So it had to be like some sort of weird layover thing. And it was.
Right.
Because it was not the year the Hawks and Bruins played. It legitimately was Bruins Canucks layover at O'Hare. That made it even more weird for me.
So they laid out. So yeah, clarify that for me,
Yeah.
because I was saying to Jamie while the show's going on, I was saying the Hawks and Bruins did play in a Stanley Cup Final.
But not in 2011, exactly. It was a layover at O'Hare, so that made it more weird for me.
Yes,
It was really weird.
It was. They explained it like in the giving away stuff scene, but so fast and before you knew what the deal was.
Exactly.
They talk about it as like, I'm sure we'll find this out later, but it was so, but yeah, it's like, if you don't actually know hockey, it's just like, wait, I'm lost. And then the flashback starts.
happening?
And yes, and me, like, who I don't know, I was like, wait, it's a layover in Chicago, but like, where are they going and where are they coming from? I'm so confused. And then they're playing hockey and I'm like, this seems bad.
It was
And
Game
then it's
7.
9/11. And I was like, what's happening?
Because that was the year after the Hawks beat the Flyers, I believe, because they called it the Hangover Hawks. Because the Hawks lost in 7 games to the Canucks in the first round that year.
Yeah. Yeah, I remember. I think I remember watching Game 7 in the bar across the street from your apartment.
I was watching with you, I think.
I think we were.
Kevin, we were watching a game, and
know.
I fully believe it was that.
It was. It was across the street from where you live. It was downtown Chicago.
D4.
I know. Yeah, D4. Yeah.
Holy shit!
It was. I remember that. And as someone who flies into O'Hare, I don't know, a dozen times a year at least, O'Hare's not a bad airport. They're making up shit. And let me make this very clear, because I think this is important. It would be weird if this is the first time you're listening to our show, but if you are, we are not haters. We're not listening.
No.
We're not watching.
We watched the whole damn season.
We watched the whole damn
we don't
season.
hate watch.
No, and we're not watching it to be ironic and snarky about shit. We're watching this because we were all weirdly intrigued by this show to start with. We watched it. We've enjoyed watching it. We've enjoyed talking about it. I do think that this is the worst episode in a while.
Yeah,
I think
sure
this
in a
was
while.
and I think Jamie's right in that it seems like this episode was written at a different time. Like, this episode was decided before they wrote the last few. Now, that doesn't mean there weren't good things that came out of this episode. There were, and I wrote them down. But
Yes,
but
we'll get to some good stuff. There's some real stuff in here.
But you can't cornball a 9/11 Deus Ex Machina and have, I don't know, me get on board with it.
And it seemed like, and they're just like, we're supposed to just be like, oh, 9/11, that's why he killed himself. It's like, no, that's not.
Doesn't
it's
make
not that
fucking
simple,
sense.
man.
Yeah.
Those are ABC execs in DJ Nash's ear.
It felt very Friday Night Lights season 2.
Yes.
You know?
The first half, that was, bonkers bad.
And the flashback situation was so confusing.
It was
as Dave
so
says,
confusing. And and the thing you were saying about the airport, too, where they're complaining, where they're like, Eddie, who is, did pull a real wiener move trying to make it a connecting flight to save $20. So that checks out character-wise.
I've done that too, I should say, but yeah.
Right, but Eddie could have afforded it.
Yeah.
He's in the Red Ferns, Kevin.
He is in the Red Ferns.
He's got $20.
The song's on the radio. As someone with comedy on the radio on Sirius XM, buy my album if you support artists.
Nice and drunk.
Nice and drunk
Stream
is my album.
it, buy it.
But radio pays. You get paid.
Yeah, dude.
Like, albums get, I didn't know. You
It's
make
amazing.
money. Yeah, Jamie and I just got our taxes done, and let's, Dave and I we're all gonna party.
Yes, get a cast party together.
By the way, I legitimately, we're on the same level tonight with everything. I honestly just got my return back today. It's not fantastic, but I'm positive in federal and the state.
Well, there you go.
I expected more, but that's fine.
Yeah, we thought we were going to get murdered because I get paid every month for what my album does, basically, and my album came out last June. And I thought I would just be murdered on this, and our accountant did a good job, and it seems like we're fine. And
mainly it was like a weird year of like unemployment and also like gigs where they don't take stuff out, but other gigs where they do, and there was just like no way to tell.
Yeah.
We were just anticipating forking over a lot, but it was fine.
Yeah. And
so there you go.
We're all doing okay, and that's why we're doing this podcast that we lose $15 a month on.
Yeah.
That's so great.
Can we list this podcast as a dependent next time? Is that a thing?
I didn't list it. I wrote it off. I didn't list it as a dependent, but you best believe I wrote off A Million Little Podcasts.
Oh, yes.
Follow us at A Million Little Podcast on Instagram and A Million Podcast on Twitter.
So we don't have to pay followers.
Yeah, exactly. No, we're all straight up legit. Season 2, we best be getting ads. Otherwise, we got to set up a Patreon, which we could also do. But
Danny's gonna hook it up.
Danny will hook it up. I do like that they gave Danny a moment at the beginning.
Yes, thank goodness.
And I just a quick note about Danny. He's a young man who's a great actor and sounds like he smokes. He's got a smoky voice.
He's always got it's always a little raspy.
I think that's great.
He's going to be, by the time he's, like in his 50s and he's won many Emmys, he's going to be like fucking Sam Elliott up there accepting awards.
I love it. All right, let's do a quick
run. Down.
Quick rundown. So the season finale, it was titled Goodbye. The main song, I do like to call out the songs. I always write them down, and I don't always get to call them out. But Colin Hay
Garden State.
It's off the Garden State soundtrack. That is right. This is part of the reason this show really reaches out to a very specific age, and that specific age happens to be 36.
Yeah. Whoever's job it is to pick the songs to, like, target us is, like, they're doing a bang-up job.
Yeah. It's Colin Hay. I absolutely had this song on not only the Garden State soundtrack, but I had this song on more than one Burn CD. In college. Colin Hay, I just don't think I'll ever get over you. Did I know how to play this song on guitar at one point? I absolutely 1,000% did.
Oh my God. Are you the Eddie?
I'm the... Jesus Christ.
I'm kidding. I would never say that for real.
Are you the Katherine? Yeah. Are you the... Yeah. I would... to be honest, I would never have a baby with someone else and then come try to kiss you.
Thank you.
You're welcome. It's the nicest thing I've ever said. So, quick rundown. I'll do it. Gary and Maggie move in together. Then Rome checks in with PJ, and our immediate thought when we saw PJ, Jamie and I thought, that PJ's going to be dead by the end of the episode. Spoiler, he's not. But PJ, it turns out, and thank you so much to one of our favorite listeners, Alchemy Girl, in Alicia in Illinois, I think she lives in, but she pointed out to us that the actor playing PJ was also Carl from The Walking Dead.
I did not recognize him at all. I had no idea.
Dave, did you watch The Walking Dead at all?
No, but I do a lot of online sleuthing, and I need to be prepared. Yeah, so I do not watch Walking Dead, all these AMC Bravo, or not Bravo, but like whatever.
I get you.
I just know he's a big kind of deal as a young actor. So
Yeah,
he's no Chance Hurstfield, but yeah.
No, yeah, he's all right. Yeah, I watched like the first season of Walking Dead, and I didn't realize that was him at all.
Well, one of the reasons
surprised
why
he was back.
Yeah, one of the reasons why I want to know is because I want to see how long these stories. I hate kind of you looking ahead and being like, oh, I wonder how many episodes they're going to be in. But I do kind of want to know, like Drea D'Amato. I want to know like what their arc's going to be.
Right. Sure. Her. We knew she was going to be around at least. Like she's not going to just show up for an episode and go.
Well, and that's what I thought. And I was saying to our friend Alicia that that we thought he was going to. Our first thought was, oh, PJ, he dead. And, she was saying that that's Carl from The Walking Dead. And that made me think, oh, maybe he's not dead then for that Law and Order reason. Exactly. When someone kind of famous shows up, that means they're going to link. They're not just going to be there for 2 seasons.
In my head, I thought the storyline would be, oh, PJ's back and he's specifically here to die in the episode so that Rome can realize you can't save everybody that you try to help with, depression is really what I thought was going to happen. But it didn't.
Yeah.
PJ's still here.
Yep, that's
the season premiere of season 2.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, that's why Jamie and I aren't writing this. Also, we never would have thought to put 9/11 in a show that was about
From
small.
From now on, I'm putting
9/11
in everything.
Yep.
Fuck it. Apparently, that's the deal.
Yep. Every stand-up bit I have from now on is going to have 9/11 in the beginning, middle, or end. Probably the end, to be honest. So let's go to the Colin Hay thing. He's from Men at Work. Great. Then they did a good job with expos stuff. I feel like they really hit the expository hard and obvious, but sort of, I thought it was in a good way, where Maggie was just like, yeah, I got to go see the doctor to see if my cancer's gone. And then Eddie was like, yeah, I got to go tell our kid we're getting divorced. And they just knocked it all out in 2 lines.
Oh, yeah, it was a very good, I thought that was a very good and like a now moment of the show where Rome's like, man, I got to go to the fucking car dealership and it sucks. And then Maggie's like, oh, cool, I'm going to go to the cancer doctor. Eddie's like, cool, I'm going to go talk about my divorce. It was a fun little friend burn.
Yeah.
Plus Expos. Good.
Yeah, exactly. That's a good way to package it. And then Eddie and Katherine smooch. And what I wrote down there was, where did night terrors now? Why are they smooching? As a child of divorce, my parents got divorced when I was 8. I do not remember the moment of announcing divorce. I just straight up don't remember it. Also, if my parents kissed, that would be terrifying. So I hate that. Then Dave gave me a clap. Then Maggie, we find out Maggie is in remission.
Hooray!
That's great. Gina takes Rome to get a car. They have a fun scene where Gina's really throwing her swag around and being like, I can negotiate this. I can negotiate anything. And that's a lot of fun. Delilah meets Barbara Morgan. Barbara Morgan's roommate. I wrote down murderer, ? Lumberjack murderer. He seems...
Oh, thank you for bringing this up. By the way, he is not a 9/11 hero. He's some Mitch. That guy is not a hero.
No, Mitch is not a hero. Mitch sucks.
Yeah.
Well, Mitch, her baby daddy.
Mitch is...
Or is he?
I don't even feel like he can be.
No, we know Dave, who passed away, is the father.
Dave's the father. Oh,
I thought she said Mitch was the father.
Well, no, she said Mitch is
the father.
Well, Mitch is the father, but in the way that he's an adoptive father.
Oh, I gotcha.
It's
just like Eddie would be for. Well, I'm sorry, just like John. Wow, that's another thing.
I was probably still stomping around the room and like throwing things over, being like, "Fucking 9/11, really?" And I only have heard that one.
No, I was eating pasta for part of the show, so I missed some things.
And we have a lot of microcosms going on. Like that son is sort of like how we're gonna have. Whatever his name, Eddie's son with Delilah, and then we have PJ or BJ, whatever, on Suicide Watch like Rome. So it's very on the nose.
Right? Yeah, yeah.
Oh, Patrick. I wonder if his middle name's John.
I mean, how couldn't it be?
Should be Dave, right?
My name is Patrick Jumanji. Yeah, yeah, that would be
God,
strange.
I hope. Why not? Why not have a Jumanji happen? That was also a terrible tragedy.
But I wrote down Barb's roommate, lumberjack murderer, ? I agree with that. Basically, yeah, he is the functional father, and that's what she said at the end was that Dave was that this guy's the father, meaning we're not getting into Dave, basically. I think. And then airport hockey, and then I wrote down 2013 was Bruins Hawks, which is as the mess we just got into, where they made everything very confusing. Then I wrote, we did not need 9/11 stuff, fairly understated there. Sophie, his daughter, is the name of the flight attendant or whatever.
Saved his life by not succumbing to his charms.
Yeah, the one woman immune to his charms.
Yep. No, you can't get on that plane.
Also, the jetway was probably just physically closed and he couldn't get in. But
by the way, like, just as a person who's ever worked in customer service,
that
is the ultimate. The best thing is when you're not mean to a person but lay down the law and they won't believe you that you're telling them the truth, and then something happens that makes them realize, oh, you actually do know what you're talking about. I mean, there can't be a better example of that than, like, I can't let you on the plane, sir, and then you don't die in 9/11, and it's like, oh, who wants to talk to my manager now?
Yeah, that bitch knows what she's talking about.
Yeah, Sophie. Sophie is the fucking MVP of the episode.
Sophie, the queen bitch. Yeah. And then they meet. Then John meets Delilah at the airport. So he met Delilah at the airport after he was not allowed on the plane that same day? Is that
no? It was later.
Yeah, it was in March. It was on Dave's birthday, like March 12th. He met up because he was in a suit. He met up with Barbara Morgan on Dave's
birthday to leave stuff at the airport where
it was like March 12th or something weird.
Because she was still pregnant, so it wasn't that long after Dave died. Then it was his birthday, and he's mad at her because she's already hooked up with serial killer Mitch, the firefighter. He's got a lot going on, and John's like, that's too soon. She tells him, you've got to find something to live for. And then he does immediately at the airport bar.
I got to find something to live for. Like at this bar? Fine.
Fucking fine.
That's our guy. That's my guy. Paul Livingston is our guy.
He is my guy, and he's especially my guy through how much he's your guy.
Yes.
I love it.
Yeah, and she's just, Delilah couldn't be Frenchier in this flashback. We finally, I think, reached peak French Delilah with her short little bob haircut. And French lessons at the bar.
And she's a piece of toast.
Serviette les bas. Is bar napkin, I believe.
Uh-huh.
I tried. Yes, I would say literally the only thing that seemed poignant to me was like later when they do, she hears John in her head again, because she's delayed, I think maybe, or she's just maybe.
Her name's Delilah.
Huh? Delilah.
Not delayed.
Oh my God.
Well, ladies and gentlemen,
Podcast
I'm a piece of crap. Ladies and gentlemen, this guy sucks.
I'm going to write you into 9/11.
Don't do it.
Damn it.
It's pronounced Delilah.
2-to-1 odds say that DJ Nash has Hey There Delilah in season 2 premiere.
Oh, that would be worse than
yes.
9/11 for me.
See, that I would appreciate. That's the exact kind of dumbass shit that I would enjoy from this show. Like, of course they're playing that.
Jamie and I
How could you not?
Jamie and I spent 3 months in a bedroom with our the man in the next room, great friend of ours, just playing Hey There Delilah over and over again. Whatever year that was.
Our roommate, was very into that song
Hey
for
there,
a little
Delilah.
while.
Yeah. Anyway, go ahead. I'm sorry. Before I got real stupid.
She says, like, where are you headed? And he says, I was supposed to go to L.A. And then later we hear her hearing that in her head again of John saying, I was supposed to go to L.A., which obviously has a deeper meaning to him. And when he was at the airport, he was not going to L.A. He just fucking had a ticket because he had to get into the airport to leave some stuff at his friend's, like, funeral site. But that was touching.
Okay.
I still don't approve at all of the 9/11 storyline, but saying I was supposed to go to L.A., and he's basically implying to her that his flight was delayed, which it wasn't. He's really meaning I was supposed to go to L.A. I was supposed to be on the flight that my friend died on, is what that really means to him.
Right. There's more in it.
That's poignant.
Really quick, you guys, once we saw Delilah and Barbara Morgan sitting down tonight, I really thought it was going to, for a 2-second span, turn John into a murderer. That's how sick I am.
I don't think you're that sick. You thought that it would come out that John was a murderer?
Well, like some sort of vehicular manslaughter with Dave, yeah. I thought it was more of a vehicular manslaughter.
Right, like Dave died actually at his hand in some way.
Yeah. Yes, which would have friggin' made sense.
From a dramatic sense, yes, it is more fraught. Yeah,
it's the thing that it's the difference between, the beginning of season 2 of Friday Night Lights, where they are like, we should have a murder plot. It's like, no, you fucking shouldn't. And the entire rest of Friday Night Lights, which is like, it doesn't have to be big in the sense of like, when you just say the situation, it's big. It just needs to be big to the people, which can be like, it doesn't have to be fucking 9/11. It can be you were driving and the car crashed and it wasn't even your fault, but you were driving so you feel bad forever. That's it. Mm-hmm. That's crazy. That's plenty.
Yeah, that's a lot.
If you do it right.
Yeah.
Writing wise.
I'll finish off the event summary here. Then I wrote after Meet Delilah at Airport, Hunter goes full D-bag. Gary, you're worried about everyone. I thought that was a very good angle. And then Roman Gina, baby ? And that's basically all I had. There actually are some good, interesting things to get into there. So what?
We can do the Roman Gina storyline because it's short, but there's good stuff in it.
Go ahead.
And that's for real. Well, they're going to get a new car for whatever the fudge reason.
And there was a fun scene.
And it was a fun scene because it's like, Regina's like, it's I was going to say a twist because the woman goes in to buy the car.
A woman can buy cars now?
It's crazy, you guys. This show's crazy. 9/11, women buying cars.
Cats and dogs living together.
Yep, chaos. But that was nice. She's like, I'll get you your sports car. They test drive a sports car, and it's a lot of fun. And Regina wants Rome to get it. He's saying we should be more practical. She's like, no, this is your dream car. let's do this. I'll get us a good deal on it. Let's do it. And that's fun. And she's being supportive, and they're having a good time together.
And she's just fired up about stuff. And it's whenever a good friend of yours or your significant other is fired up about anything, to me, that's great.
Yes.
That is.
Coming off a strong hotel restaurant, week. Last week, the restaurant.
Yeah,
thing.
the restaurant's going well. So it's like they could afford like a decent car now. It seems like things are at least are picking up.
She's had a good couple of weeks. There's promise of money next week.
Yes,
and so you can do this now.
And she specifically says your script is amazing, and says let's bet on ourselves, which is that's a great teammate.
Yes,
she's doing it. What she doesn't know is that Rome has baby fever real bad.
Yes,
he's seeing babies everywhere. He's Callista Flockhart in fucking Ally McBeal, whatever season it was with the dancing baby.
Rome is my mom currently. My mom did just sign up for she told me as she was dropping me off at the airport, I just signed up on a waiting list at the hospital for a program where you get to hold babies. I was like, cool. No pressure. That's
yeah, cool. There's no way to read that as passive aggressive, which it really isn't, but it's like, all right, great. Well, have fun with that.
Yeah, it's not passive aggressive, but my mom has passed beyond the border of just like holding it in. And she passed that, I think it was at Christmas or Thanksgiving when she talked about she had a sister who is now a grandmother. My mom is not a grandmother yet, even though my mom is the oldest of her siblings. And she said,
the youngest of the siblings is a grandmother.
Yeah, and she was like, I'm trying not to be jealous. And I said, well, there's nothing to be jealous about, really. And she said, well, yeah, whenever it happens, even, if I'm watching from heaven, I'll be proud. And then me, Joe, and Pat at the same time, Joe and Pat are my brothers, just went like, what the fuck? Jesus Christ. You can't say, if I'm watching from heaven, I'll be proud. That is pressure. That is that is martyr shit. Yeah.
That's your mom just saying like, well, I've made peace with the fact that I might be dead by the time
I'll be dead when these grandkids show up.
Sheesh.
So, yeah.
Yipes.
My oldest is too busy doing a podcast he loses $15 a month on.
Yeah. That's a couple of Reginas over here.
Yeah.
Ugh.
But
so Rome's really wanting the baby, and also there is a moment earlier where Sophie basically says thanks for helping me out this year and kind of being my dad a little bit, which makes him feel good.
That was nice.
They had that dance together, I think.
Yeah, right.
Yes, they did.
Episode 3 or something.
Oh, yeah, long ago.
But it's funny that you said season because it does feel like a totally different season when that happened.
Yeah, they had a break, I guess. So,
yeah.
But so he's like, all right. And now he does say when he found the pregnancy stick in our bathroom, if you're calling it a pregnancy stick, it's a pregnancy test. It's like, that's weird. But he said he got excited about that. He says he realized that having a baby actually means raising a person. True.
Fact checked. Yeah.
Which for me, I feel like his thing is just like, no, it's not just a screaming baby forever. Eventually you get to raise a person, which it's like, good and bad, because it's just like, do you want to deal with a teenager who can yell at you? There are good and bad things to the kid eventually not being a baby.
Right.
But he's excited to raise a person, which is very nice.
And I think that is a take you don't see or hear all the time.
Yes.
Because you think of having a baby. You don't think of having a 7-year-old.
And there are people who specifically just want babies.
Yes, there are.
There are people who are just...
They're bad.
Is that right, boo? True.
But he wants to raise a person, which is a very healthy thing and the thing a person should think about if they want to have a baby, because that baby will eventually, if you do it right, be a person.
Yeah.
And Regina basically tells them at the end that she does not want this, meaning children. We have a conflict.
I wrote down in all caps, fair exclamation point.
It is fair. When they point out when they first got married, they said they were not having children.
And that's not a happy turn of events, but it is supremely fair. You do not have to have a baby, especially if you're the woman. And I don't mean to be, genderist or whatever about this, but I do feel like when it comes to having babies, I think women should get to be the tiebreaker because they happen to be the ones that have them actually. That's how this system happens to be set up. So
yeah, there was a moment when he turned around where she's like, this is the car you get if you're going to have kids in a couple of years. And he turns around, he's like, I think we should get this car. And I was just like, oh, fuck you. All right. Why don't you get pregnant then?
And I will say we touched on this about how this felt like a potential series finale in case it didn't get renewed. They did a good job of, with Gina and Rome, Eddie, Katherine, and even to a certain extent Gary, Maggie, having issues that would lead us into a second season. Not that the John stuff is wrapped up, but at least you have that sort of micro answer. So, I mean, you know, they did a solid job that way.
I think so. I think I appreciate how much of the mystery they solved without making it too dirty of a mystery. With John,
they rushed the stuff, but you know they rushed the John stuff, but you know,
but I think it's good that they more or less at least said out loud that we have to make peace with the fact that we'll never know why he did it. Everything added up, you know. So yeah, I appreciate that with them, and it's also a thing where I think if this was a series finale, maybe Rome and Gina end up deciding to have a baby.
Probably, yeah.
Right? Because it would be, I would respect it, but it would be weird if the series finale was just Rome being like, I want a baby, and Gina's like, no. And then they just go to credits and you never see them again. That would be, I would appreciate it, but that's just not how TV works for the most part. But I think the Rome Gina, again, Rome has been, I think, as we've said many times this season, the most realistic depiction of depression, I think, on the show has been Rome. And I think Rome and Gina here, this is a really realistic depiction of a significant disagreement in how you want your life to go, where neither one is wrong, but it also could, in a real way, be a fatal flaw in this relationship. Like, they could be two people who totally love and support each other and break up, and that could be the right move.
Yeah, and they do a good job of setting up how much they love and support each other at the beginning of the episode, where, like, Regina's totally on his team and helping him out and wants him to get what he wants, and also has other reasons for not having a kid, which, like, maybe is just putting off saying what she's really feeling, where she's like, you know, I'm still worried about you. I don't think a kid would be a lot in addition to that. And then eventually she's just like, I don't want it. Right. I just don't want it.
Season 2, episode 4, Maggie finds out she's pregnant via Gary.
Gary fucks. Yeah. So, okay. So do we have anything else about
I think Gary fucks is implied in this one. She's in remission. I feel like Gary.
Oh, you gotta fuck if you're in remission.
Yeah.
You gotta knock one out.
We didn't see it, but I feel like it was there.
Yeah. I do think I don't want to cut to the end exactly, but so they're moving in together. They're moving the mattress up the stairs. There is part of me, even though moving into a new place is horrific, there is part of me that has appreciated the romance of moving furniture into a new place. I remember when Jamie and I moved to New York in the first place, I was very much, I do think I was much more embracing the romance of it than she was when we were in, her parents drove us out here. I remember do you remember this? As the moving van was like, we're approaching the city looking at the skyline, and I don't remember exactly what I said, but something to the effect of like, what can happen here, and you were like, I don't know.
I mean, well, I remember that I had to pee very bad
for like
the last hour of the drive getting into Manhattan because there was a ton of traffic, and I was like, I'm going to have to pee on the side of the road, and it's going to suck. So my head was not like all I was thinking about was like...
You weren't in the big picture.
Oh, it's a big city. I hope there's all a shit ton of bathrooms in it because I need one now.
Well, sometimes you're at different places in your relationship. Sometimes one of you is thinking of your entire future together out of college, and sometimes one of you needs to pee. So
Kevin is Gary.
I am Gary. I think I kind of am, especially after. So to skip past a bunch of stuff, but basically, Maggie's in remission. That's the big news. And then I do think they do a good job addressing at the end of this, where she's saying like, Gary, you don't like John was someone who thought he needed to save everyone. And Gary has become that person.
I wrote down.
He's John 2.0. Yeah.
Yeah.
Gary is John 2.0.
Yeah.
I wrote down, you're the John now dog.
You're the John now dog to Gary?
To Gary, yes.
Yeah.
She's like, I hope you're not, trying to save me because you couldn't save John. I was like, adoy, he is.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, now he's going to scramble to save everyone he can.
But it's good that she brought it up.
Right.
But he is definitely doing that and probably will continue to.
Yeah, and part of why you like him is because he's someone who does that. And it would be healthier for him if he didn't in some ways, but he's not going to stop because he can't. And I do think it was good that they called that out, that Gary is someone who now, this whole season, has been trying to save everyone, to scramble around and save absolutely everyone.
Also, my favorite quote of the episode, Rome says to Gary, you never work. Remember when Gary was like, oh, I love Men at Work. I would really have liked that album, the Colin Hay one.
Yeah.
And he's like, oh, well, you never work. So that's funny. Remember I brought that up a few episodes ago? Gary just literally doesn't have a job.
Yeah, Gary, he works in insurance and some...
And we saw him once in his office.
Yes, we saw him once there to establish it, and then it's like, yeah, he just hasn't been at work in months.
It was a nice play on Men at Work, yeah.
Yes. Yeah, it was a good quick turn and a good kind of a realistic kind of friend burn, I think. Yeah. That is how friends talk to each other. But I thought that was nice that they gave sort of a hat tip to that. It was self-aware as a series, as a group of friends too, where saying to Gary, you were trying to save everyone, and he's just scrambling around like a hungry hippo, but he really is just trying to get in everyone's business and save everybody, and
picking up where John left off.
Yeah, and I have for sure been like that and felt like that in my life, and in my group of friends, I have 100% scrambled to try to save everybody, and like I'm still someone who's trying to make myself healthier by trying to be like, you can't save everybody, and you just some people they gotta do what they want. It's not all up to you. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it's a familiar instinct.
Yeah, it is.
And sometimes you just gotta let it go.
Yeah, gotta let your friends
let it go.
And do it.
What you do to me.
I can't wait. Goddamn. I hope we hit enough listeners so that we can do a live show somewhere. And then, for Patreon subscribers of a certain point, can just do karaoke with Dave. That would be wonderful.
I would pay for that.
Or have an unnamed friend play Hey There, Delilah.
Hell yeah. You're pitching it. Damn. Season 2, we're going to unveil the Patreon. We're going to do some live shit. In between season 1, season 2. I have a couple ideas about episodes in between. We're not going to be every week in between season 1, season 2. But if we can get if we can get cast interviews.
I have some ideas for sure, whether it's cast interviews, writers, or us talking about life in our 30s.
Yeah, I think there will be some episodes in between now and then. But yeah, we might. You'll find out. Just subscribe if you haven't subscribed. Also, if you've enjoyed any of this, please rate us. That is helpful. Rate and review us would be very nice. Follow us.
The review can just be your favorite thing that Danny's ever said.
Just your favorite thing that Danny's ever said. Jamie's favorite guy, Danny. Our friend Chance, who got some lines in this one, and he's a great actor, and he sounds like he smokes. These are all great things. He said, I was made to be the baby in this episode.
He said, look at this face.
And follow us. We're not done yet, but follow us individually. I'm at Kevin McCaff. She's at Jamie with 2 eyes.
Figure it out.
The link is in the show notes. And at Miller_Dave. Dave is our one verified Twitter member.
Yes.
I still don't know how to do that, Dave. I have the most followers here, but I can't get verified. What's my problem?
Someone told me there's not an art to it. It just happens. I find that hard to believe.
I find that hard to believe also. All right. So all right. What else? Is Eddie and Katherine all we got left? Do we cover Gary and Maggie? Is there anything I missed there?
No, that's pretty much it. At the end, Maggie gets him out of the house and takes him to do something fun, like talk to John's grave.
That sounds fun.
And that's kind of how it ends up, is Gary basically saying the things he needs to say to John and apologizing for not helping him and not saving him and saying what he didn't get to say. Quote, title of the show, episode, goodbye.
John, extra note, John killed himself on Jamie and my anniversary.
He
our
did.
official anniversary, October 12th.
Yeah, dating anniversary.
That rang a bell. That date did ring a bell.
And my brother Joe's birthday. Mm-hmm. And my brother Joe has rightfully called me on my shit and said, because Jamie and I, it was around midnight when
Unclear.
Jamie was in my college bedroom and I made things official. And that sounds dirtier than it was.
What you do to me?
But I more or less was like, let's...
We were like, which day is it? We're not sure if it was before or after midnight.
October 11 or 12.
And he was like, well, October 12th is Joe's birthday. October 13th is your dad's birthday.
Oh, October 11 is, yeah.
Or 11, sorry. It was between 11 and 12, yeah.
It's between my dad's birthday and my brother's
Pardon
birthday.
me. Yes. So I don't know. We were just like, I don't know. I like Joe. Let's pick Joe's birthday. So it was actually a compliment. I was like, I'd like to be associated with Joe, but it is rightfully so. It was a bad move.
Dave, give me the thumbs down again on the Skype just for the Insta. Thank you. Yeah, but Joe has said to me...
Also, it almost certainly was after midnight, so whatever.
I think it's correct, but Joe has been like, of all the friggin' days, of course, my middle brother is like, yeah, you gotta have an anniversary on my birthday, huh? Yeah, well, we all get to talk shit to John Dixon now because he decided to kill himself on your birthday, Joe McCaffrey.
I know, now that's the biggest thing that's happened on that day.
Yeah. October 12th. Wish my brother Joe McCaffrey happy birthday on
a million little birthdays.
A million little birthdays this year. So, yes.
Yeah, that's it for Gary and Maggie.
And then, okay, so...
At the do you want to do the beginning? They're doing basically a dead guy Santa. They're giving away
they're giving
John's
away his stuff. Yeah, that was weird.
Danny plays dead guy Santa. He gives Gary... John's Harvard sweater. Gina gets a real estate award that John won, where they spelled his name wrong. Rome gets cufflinks that Sophie gave John for Father's Day, and that's when he starts the baby fever real hard, because she's basically like, thanks for being my dad this year.
And that is a superficial reason to start baby fever.
Yeah, it makes sense. He's like, oh my God, I did good. I did the job good. It's like, it's nice to find something that you might be okay at. And he's like, oh, maybe I might be all right at this. And then Danny calls Eddie Edward, which is great. And he gets a weird little hockey stick, which we find out later is through that convoluted flashback why that's important. And Maggie gets a signed album from Colin Hay, who was in the episode music-wise.
Yeah, they gave the fact that they gave Colin Hay a straight-up shout-out was
I know,
kind of impressive.
Weird. And that's that part.
Well, Colin Hay will be on GMA tomorrow morning.
Yeah, it's all a work.
Oh my God. And then Gary. Sophie shows Gary a picture of the lady that came to the house. Gary realizes he says, that's Barbara Morgan. I was like, well, slow your roll, Gare Bear. We've been burned before on believing that. But it turns out he and we finally were right. And Delilah's a little bit not sure that she wants to go because she says every time I go searching for answers, all I get is more questions. She's also saying this to Sophie, as Sophie is saying that, like, when my little brother or sister asks me what happened to Dad, I want to have answers. And Delilah's basically like, let's not look for too many answers, as the person who is carrying Eddie's baby and passing it off as her dead husband telling her daughter this. It's like, oh yeah, I guess Delilah would maybe not want people to go looking for answers too hard.
Why don't you shut your butt? Yeah.
Shut your butt, Delilah. But she doesn't. Her butt goes to the Nelson household. She asks for Barbara Morgan. Serial killer Mitch tries to get her to go away. Barbara Morgan says, come on in. They talk about John, and then she learns the whole friggin' 9/11 story.
Sure.
And then they say Patrick's going to be home, which is when I was like, oh, Patrick, it's but PJ probably, and then it was.
Jamie called that the son Patrick was going to be PJ very early.
Yeah. Basically, his name starts with a P, and they weren't showing his face right away.
Patrick,
so it's like,
the son of Barbara Morgan.
Yes.
Is PJ, who was just... Why was he at the hospital?
Who the fuck knows?
He just was at the hospital and found Rome's script.
Yeah, it's still crazy.
Well, there you go. That bothers me. And guys, I'm throwing it out there.
Do it.
I totally understand. We know that Ashley went overseas to either Amsterdam or Spain. I get that. But where is Ashley in terms of them? Ashley was a well-known figure in their life.
I know.
Episodes. Where is Ashley? I'm sorry.
No one's been sweating Ashley for a few episodes.
No
now.
update.
And she was a big part of the mystery. And I understand the mystery is not. I understand there's not a ton of mystery to the mystery at this point, which I like. I like that they don't make it too dramatic. But Ashley still is a real. She's a person.
I know, it's weird. As soon as they didn't need her to find out things about the mystery, it's just like, she gone. Don't worry about it.
Yeah.
But no, she was still a big person hiding stuff in terms of the real estate and everything. Like, for her to just, I don't know, that bothers me.
Yes, it is weird that she didn't even they didn't even just, like, show her on a fucking beach in the, like, finale. Just like, hey, Ashley's doing good. Yeah, or even just enjoying herself, just living life.
If
you would like to see her on a beach, follow...
You damn right you follow her on Insta.
What's her name, Dave?
It's Christina
Ochoa. Follow Christina Ochoa on Instagram. She is probably on a beach as we speak. And
hack boyfriend.
What's that?
With the hack of a boyfriend.
Dave is burying the boyfriend. Her name is Ochoa Christina on Instagram, and she's living a hell of a life, scuba diving, doing all sorts of things.
There you go.
And we're hoping she comes back in season 2.
Yes, and so that's that whole thing. Katherine and Eddie, we basically talked about. They're in the kitchen. Theo's sitting at the table.
That's the last main thing.
Yeah, with headphones on, and Katherine's basically like, "Hey, we're actually doing pretty good. We finally addressed like why we're mad at each other in life." And then they fucking make out with Theo like 10 feet away with headphones on, which is, it's like, oh, cool, guys. That will not confuse him if you end up actually getting divorced. It's, I was like, are you just going to be secret divorced now? But it turns out they're not divorced. She didn't file the papers because she's kind of got a boner for Eddie all of a sudden.
Yeah, she got her boner back for Eddie, even though she's too good for Eddie.
I know, and that's what I wrote down was like, this feels like a oops, we got a second season little switcheroo. Like, I don't think they were supposed to end up, and that scene was pretty cheesy together. Like, even Katherine, who's friggin', she pulls off almost everything they write for her. She's a very good actress. And even in that scene, I was like, I don't even believe it from her. And she's good.
Yeah, and it's got nothing to do with her.
No, it has nothing to do with her. I was like, just like, they gave her something that was like unactable.
She has a thing where she is very good at, she's very dimply. And she just has she has a very good smile that can go from like 0 to 60 smile wise and not say anything. Yeah. And it can do a lot. That's not really an acting gift. I mean, it's partially, but it's also just how your face is built somewhat too. But
she knows what she's doing.
She's great. But yeah, that is, she can pull off a lot of stuff without doing much. And yeah, this is, the whole time, it's hard for me. It's hard to not think, oh, you're better than this guy. Yes. This guy's a jabroni.
Right.
What are we doing?
And
He's never been on tour.
Yeah. He's never
the thing I'm furious about all season. I'm going out on tour. I'll be back in 3 minutes.
I know Eddie has to move out of Gary's apartment for Maggie to move in. It's like, oh yeah, did he live there? And it's like, why would he have to if he's going to be on tour? He's not. It's stupid.
How many things has Eddie theoretically done? He's been on tour, living with Gary, also being a single dad of sorts. You haven't done any of this shit.
Ashley's more on tour than Eddie.
Ashley's 100%. Ashley went to Barcelona.
Fuck yeah, they really sent her there.
European stretch.
I love that Eddie's on tour and he went from Boston to Hartford in a fucking tour bus and that's it. Dude, as someone who
Kevin, you do that every day. Basically.
I do that drive frequently. I've done
today.
It's 2 hours. I came from further than that today. I was in West Pennsylvania this morning, and I drove back today.
Yeah, dude, crazy.
Yeah,
but I will say, and so the next scene with Katherine is what's his face, Hunter. I didn't
Hunter,
remember.
Yeah, Hunter turned heel.
This feels
a bad person.
Exactly, and this also feels like added on at the end because all of a sudden he's just basically like, hey, I feel like your work has suffered because you didn't get partner like I did. And it was satisfying that she then smacked him down and was like, newsflash, you only got partner because I turned it down. I turned it down to spend time with my family, which is where I'm going right now. So enjoy your stupid workload, you fucking
you did?
Load. Yeah.
Hey, you fucking load.
But him turning
load.
heel so hard is like, okay, that was a last minute thing, it felt like. But then she goes home, and you do feel like as she's making dinner and expecting Eddie to be there at 6, like he said, and it's a couple minutes after 6, and you do feel like, and at the time Delilah's having her baby, Dave's freaking out right now. It feels like what's going to happen is she's going to get a call from the hospital, and Eddie's like, I got to be with Delilah. She's having her baby, is what I was thinking.
That's what I thought. Yeah.
Yes. So this was actually a good thing in the episode because he does call her, and you're bracing for like, oh, Katherine, you were too good for it and you let it happen and now you're going to get your heart broken again. But he's outside and he wants to talk to her in private. And instead what he's going to do is tell her that he knocked up Delilah, which he doesn't say in the episode, but that is clearly what he's gearing up to do, is blow Delilah's cover because he doesn't want to have any lies between them if he's going to, quote, come home again. Which I think it was a good ending to it because it was a little twisty. Like he's actually, I mean, if he wants to,
he's not there. He's not at the hospital.
Yeah, and if he wants to be with her, this is the correct move.
Yeah, that was smart.
Yeah.
The other thing I wanted to say really quick, I wrote down. This would probably be at 9:43, or I'm sorry, 8:43 Central, so 9:43 Eastern.
Yeah.
This show will get canceled mid-season. The way it was going.
Do you remember what moment made you feel like that?
The line before is John Dixon is the ideal, which obviously is me in my own head. And the one before that is Rome equals wants kids. So it's just, I don't know, at some point it felt hokey.
Dave did text me. You said that was at 9:43?
It was roughly 8:43 Central, so 9:43 your time.
Yeah. So at 34 minutes into the show, Dave just texted me. We had not texted at all today before that. Dave texted me, I can't watch this show anymore, period. And I said, haha, this episode is all over the place. And Dave said, I had to rewind 3 times. That was at 9:43. And then at 9:44, Dave said, haha, also hashtag bury Gina.
Because I just saw Gina giving Rome a hard time.
Yeah, I thought it was like a fun hard time for a bit, and then I do think I don't want this, and then peace out, walking away to go do something else. That's a little rough, but I guess that's just, that's built into the...
Also, the something else was, your friend's in labor,
yes.
So what else are you going to do?
I think in that scenario, you wait to drop a bomb on your significant other until you're somewhere else. But I also, this is picking nits.
Yes.
Because I think that perspective in her saying that, I think is great. I think that is super realistic and real in a way you don't often see on TV.
And also he kind of put it on her as she's walking away to go. And he says, like, this could be us.
Yeah.
And she's like, I don't want, what else? She's not going to be like, okay.
Yeah, you turn me completely. I disagree with everything I just said. Yep, totally. No, I think that is a thing that I think guys probably do even more than girls. But where he's basically saying, I'm blessing you with this decision of mine, and she returns with it. She says something else, but the point is, it's not your decision.
Yeah, and
you
also,
don't get to make this decision.
Yeah, and she had made some like Yeah, and she had made some like logical points in the car earlier about why maybe they shouldn't have a kid. And this is her finally being like, I think what I'm going to have to do is tell him that I actually don't want a kid, which is the real reason, because he's like, and he is genuinely excited.
He's not being mean.
He's not trying to be manipulative. I think he's just like, no, I'm excited and I think you'll be excited. And then she's like, I'm not actually. This is bad. Anyway, I have to go help deliver a baby. Bye.
Right. Shut your fucking butt.
Yeah, maybe this can wait till later. Shit.
All right.
Yeah, I mean, it sucks for everybody. And then the very end is... Oh, and when Delilah's in labor, her kids are around her. And these are both just fucking inexplicable lines. She's about to have a baby.
Oh, I looked at Jamie twice. I turned back and just looked at Jamie in the eye with eyebrows raised. Both of these lines suck.
These lines do suck. Danny says, how funny would it be if this baby came out in one of Dad's suits screaming into a BlackBerry? And
that was maybe the worst line of every episode. How many episodes? 17 this year?
Yes.
Yeah.
The worst line of any 17.
It was so bad. And then Sophie follows it up with, soon we'll be a family of 4 again.
Second worst line of the 17 episodes.
And I'm like, fucking Delilah. I rarely feel so bad for Delilah, but I'm just like, leave your fucking mom alone. She's about to have...
She's busy, for Christ's sake.
She's busy. It felt like a dream sequence. I felt like I was experiencing it almost from Delilah's perspective, where it's just like, what is happening right now? Am I having a dream that I'm having a baby and everyone's like saying crazy things to me that no one would say in real life?
Yeah.
Anyway, that was insane. And then the voiceover is from John is, sometimes the only way to make it through today is to forget about yesterday. So
yeah, but you didn't.
He sure did not do that.
Yeah.
And I guess the only way to make it through season 2 is to forget about 9/11.
Yeah.
At least in the context of this show.
Yeah.
Not the real one, just the show one.
Yeah. Well, I think that's everything in the storyline. This.
I think that
Going
was all
forward,
of it.
we've got Rome and Gina are dealing with deciding whether they want a kid, etc., how that affects their relationship. Delilah got a new baby that handles that.
Mm-hmm.
Hopefully Danny becomes the new protagonist of the entire series.
Mm-hmm.
That would be great.
Mm-hmm.
Maggie and Gary move in together. They've confronted the fact that Gary has been trying to save everyone. So it could be interesting to see them going forward. And Eddie and Katherine, I don't know, Catherine's great. Who gives a shit?
Everyone's great.
Well, we are at the end of season 1, episode-wise, for us. We've done 16 episodes.
17.
Guys, I'm not talking
episodes?
to the audience. Jamie and Kevin, I'm talking to you.
Yeah.
I'm serious, because it's hard to rally people around a network show. Kevin, I know it was a day in August when I was sitting on my rocking chair seeing
Dave actually has a rocking chair in his apartment, and we did do the first couple episodes from me and you were in your apartment in Chicago, right?
Not a metaphor.
Yes. And I mentioned this show to you initially via text, and Jamie, thank you for also being on board again. Kevin knows this about, and I'm talking to listeners, I'm talking to my 2 friends through a laptop monitor, so it's hard, but Kevin knows I'm obsessed with network TV, so thank you for being a part of this.
Of course.
And I'm looking forward to season 2.
Yeah, man.
I can't believe the show actually, guys, I'm being serious. I actually can't believe the show made it through a season and got renewed.
I think we all kind of feel like that.
It was a surprise to all of us, man. This
Yeah.
was not... this did not seem like it would be a long commitment. I was like, this is going to be 3 episodes in, and they're going to be like, this is over. We're not showing
Yeah,
the show
this is
anymore.
a real fuck-around premise for us.
And to get the Grey's Anatomy post-Grey's pre How to Get Away with Murder or whatever it's called, to get that slot. By the way, Grey's is hideous. I'm not trying to...
Give me... What's the song? What's the song?
If you lay here...
Thank you.
It's bad. But no, in all seriousness, the fact that this show got that slot, again, I really enjoyed the Wednesday 10 p.m. Eastern slot.
Right.
And we'll see next year. Maybe it gets the brothers and sisters treatment Sunday at 10 Eastern or whatever. Wherever it's slotted.
These are things that Dave knows because Dave is a network drama guy. And Jamie and I have not been.
Network TV, yeah.
Yeah. But it is great. And follow at Dave Miller, at Miller_Dave. Follow at Jamie with 2 eyes. And all these links are in the show notes. I'm at Kevin McCaff. And hopefully we'll do episodes in between. We do, if you've enjoyed what you have listened to thus far, listening to this podcast, we have other podcasts. And I did just buy the domain for the website is not constructed yet, but it's called Nice Weirdos.
Yay!
So niceweirdos.com. Very soon we'll have all the podcasts that we and people who talk like this are the podcasts that we're involved with, and the ones that track like this will be under one website there. I am currently watching Sex and the City with a guy named John Daly.
It is so good, you guys.
One of the funniest men in the world. This TV comedy writer named John Daly. We're 2 married men. He married my cousin. They had a baby. That's another cousin of mine now. The show is called Sex and the Cityots. You can follow that at Sex and the Cityots, CIDIOTS. Pretty much anywhere you can find that.
It's really, really good. They're like a half hour-ish.
Half hour there.
You can blast through those. And if you've seen any Sex in the City, you don't have to watch the episode they're talking about. You'll get it.
And we're for sure going to have Dave Miller as a guest.
I love this premise because, Kevin, I don't even think I told you, but like when I was dating the girl in grad school that I was dating, and this again is roughly a decade ago, I had not seen a single episode, and she compared me to a Burger Aiden combo.
And Burger...
And I think that's fantastic. But yeah, no, this whole idea that you and John came up with is really fantastic, and it's applicable to today's day and age, and it's just a great idea.
It's true.
Especially for someone like me who has so many shows that I need to go back and rewatch or watch for the first time.
Well, and with as many people been listening to this one on this network show that's doing well, but not, that is a possibility we'll do a lot more with some combination of these people.
And if you're someone who has dated someone who has compared you to someone on Sex and the City and you don't know what that means, this is a great show to just catch up while you're on your commute, and it will make sense.
Yeah, Sex and the City. And we will absolutely, I don't know when Burger shows up, and Burger is John Dixon. Correct, Dave?
Yes.
Season 3.
Season 3.
I think it is.
We've had many girls...
what a crossover show that would be.
Oh, my God. Many girls have slid into our DMs at Sex and the City and told us we're only not... this Friday, the 9th episode comes out. We've had girls apologizing to us for season 1. We're fine. Daly and I have not seen any of these episodes yet. We don't know what's good or what's not. It's just Sex and the City as far as we know. Many girls have been like, so sorry about season 1. It gets good at this episode. People love season 3, it seems like. So if Burger shows up in season 3, Dave, you will for sure be
let's go.
A guest with me and Daly on Sex and the City. It's there. So Nice Weirdos, niceweirdos.com. Bookmark that. It'll be up soon. Sex and the Cityots, follow that. Jamie's been on 2 of the 9 episodes thus far. Mm-hmm. And we will be back full time when this show, A Million Little Things, comes back full time, and we may or may not have episodes in the interim. So we're
really quick, you guys.
Do.
Like this isn't going to happen. Thomas Rhett is the musical guest on SNL this week. I reached out to his reps, literally didn't hear back, but I'm gonna reach out. I don't understand why, and you can correct me.
Sure.
Like James Rowe Day when he did Psych. I don't think he hosted SNL. Maybe he did it.
No, I don't. No, he did not.
So,
for
no.
sure.
I haven't seen every episode, but like guys like that, hopefully a character probably. Ron Livingston is not going to host SNL, which I don't understand why, but he doesn't even have a Twitter, but like I'll do my best, and I'm telling the listeners too, I'll do my best, whether it's us talking about being in our 30s, but like getting writers, DJ Nash or someone.
Yeah. Well,
we'll do episodes.
And if people subscribe, whatever we do will pop up automatically in your feed. And we are hoping to find some fun interim things between now and the next season that would be fun to talk about relating to the show and things people like about this show.
We just want to talk to Danny, but we'll do other stuff too.
I think we're gonna holler at Danny. That is honestly the main thing. Is we're gonna holler at our Twitter friend. He's put us over online a bunch of times. Chance Hurstfield.
Last week he did for sure.
Yeah, he's hooked us up a couple times.
Nicest guy in the biz.
It's weird though because I've never tried to interview a 12-year-old before. So I'm like, I don't know if I have to holler at him and be like, hey, can you ask your dad if it's cool to talk to me?
I don't know what the protocol is.
Yeah, I mean, he's a fucking showbiz professional, so he can.
I know.
Whatever, he's doing what he wants.
We can't invite just a 12-year-old to our house, right? That's a crime,
right.
Probably.
It feels weird, right? Even though it's not for weird reasons, it's just like I feel no, but I think we can. Even if
we'll reach out to
talk to Danny and his dad, that's fine. But he's been super nice to us. He's been
freaking great,
right? And I've worked with WWE, and James Roday likes them. So we've got a couple of hookups. We might have some fun interviews for you in between now and season 2. Any parting words as we get out of here after a full season of doing this show?
Full season. I mean, fucking never forget Eddie's a wiener.
Yep, never forget.
Danny rules.
9/11 Eddie's a wiener.
Danny rules, 9/11 rules.
Danny whoops ass.
Danny whoops ass. I mean, that's basically it.
Theo's back on his bullshit.
Theo's always on his bullshit.
Eddie's a wiener. Theo's back on his bullshit. Danny's the best. Those are the themes.
We're done with cancer.
Yep. Yeah, cancer's done. Congratulations. We all beat it.
We killed it. We beat cancer this season, so that's exciting. Delilah's more French than ever.
Give us, you can. I was going to say, give us a little Delilah. You already did, though. Dave, any parting thoughts?
There was something really good I wanted to say, but guys and listeners, I'm holding up this bottle. I'm sorry. I killed a bottle of rosé tonight.
Oh, damn. Let me take a photo. Hold on. We'll put that on the Insta.
I had something. It was less. It was less about the show and more about the podcast, though, and that's why I'm pissed off.
Oh, it's all good.
It was legitimately about the podcast and, like, off-season, so that's why I'm pissed. But whatever.
No.
I guess maybe think about it tomorrow.
It's great. Instagram at A Million Little Podcast, at A Million Podcast on Twitter, and A Million Little Podcast at gmail.com. Thank you all so much for listening.
Thanks a lot, guys.
Yeah.
If you've listened and enjoyed yourself, please give us a rating and a review. That does help. That tells other people we're legit. This season went better for us from a podcasting perspective than we thought it would. In general, we thought it was just a flyer for no reason. And you guys listen, so thank you for that. Please listen to our other shit. Nice Weirdos, Sex and the Cityots. Follow us individually. And we hope to keep hanging out with you from here on out. Thanks very much for listening, everybody. We'll catch you in season 2.
It's not a million little bye. It's a million little see you later.